I don't know. Okay. Okay. So I want to make this rather to be a very interactive one. As usual, what I do in my most of the sessions. So please ask some questions. Okay, I'll try to answer whatever I know. Okay, that's the thing. First, in a very brief intro about myself. 1 minute. I think. I presume now you can able to see my slides properly. So everything is fine, Yati?
Yeah, we
Yes.
can see
Okay,
slides.
that's great. Thank you. So this is a very brief intro about myself. I don't want to dally much on this time on this. I would say that I got an interdisciplinary education. I worked at different levels, both in India, Malaysia, now in UK. And then you would see that I am associated with two important journals, basically relevant to my field of expertise. One is open chemistry. I am the editor in biomaterial sections, and also in another journal called International Journal of Polymer Analysis and Characterization. In this also I am acting as an editor for the biomaterial related works. Okay, and this may be not interesting for you. I am a professional member in certain professional organization like IOM3. I had acquired chartered engineering, and also I had acquired teaching fellowship recently with the higher education academy. And you could see these are my what you can say grant grant winning record. So this may not be much interesting for you, but just to show you that I'm also involved with the grant acquisition and research. And this may be more interesting for you, I believe, certainly, because it's not like that I'm doing my self boasting here, but to an extent it will help you to understand what are the important terms associated with the publications. Okay, you could see here my H index is 42. Okay, I will come to this point at a later point of this presentation. But remember this as a number, greater the number, better the quality. That's it. Okay, and then this you can easily infer. I got nearly some 150 plus publications so far. I've been working since 2010. So you can see that I had published nearly 150 articles from for the past 10 years. So it works around an average of 15 articles, okay, per year. And then you could see my citation is around 5,500. This is also another important tool. Okay, so citation means how my work has been cited by other people's research. Okay, so this also serves as a good tool to assess the researcher quality, even journal quality. Okay, so this is about this slide. Basically, though I want to show my performance, but I want you to learn the certain important terms like H index and number of citations is very important, and cumulative factor I mentioned. This is more related to the impact factor. I will also going to deal this in the subsequent slides. So this is nothing but how much amount of impact I had had now by adding the number of impact factor of individual journal that I had published. Okay, so this is about the important terms. The next thing is that publishing begins with a good research question, because this is very important. Everybody want to publish their work, okay, but the most important thing is that we have to set a good research question before starting our research. Okay, because a good research question is very important. This decides what you plan to do. Okay, for example, if you decide something, if you have some objective, okay, so if you set a very good research question, this will enable you to select suitable methodology. Okay, and this methodology will be very essential to get state of art results. Okay, in order to support your what do you say, hypothesis. Okay, in order to support your hypothesis, we take some methodology. So this will produce a good results. Okay, so these results, okay, most cases we want to publish in a good research journal. Okay, that is high impact journal. Obviously we want to publish in a high impact journals. So we will see there a little bit about what other people says about scientific paper is. So what is a scientific paper? The scientific paper is nothing but organized description of a hypothesis. Okay, and then uh, you collect data, and then based on the data we reach some conclusion. Okay, and another important thing is that we don't stop there. Okay, we try to communicate our conclusion to the journals. Okay, these journals transfer your knowledge, okay, that you gained from this work to the common public or otherwise people who are interested in your research. Okay, and more important thing, this is most very important line that I read. Okay, if your research does not generate papers, it might just it not well have it's not been have been done. Okay, so you could see understand how important to publish it. Okay, so this note, generally what is a publication, I'm walking through the various steps in it, but I believe that at this juncture, okay, about this. Basically we have to have some ideas. That is your hypothesis. That is something, a constant question that is coming to your mind and you want to solve that question. Okay, so that is nothing but your idea. And then in order to solve and prove or find a valid justification, okay, you have to adapt some methodology. Then you have to take some methods. Okay, so these methods, using that methodology, you do some experiments and then you get obviously some results. Okay, so when you compile these results and analyze them, okay, you will try to communicate your finding to a appropriate journal. Okay, so this journal might be within your scope. Okay, that's important one. Okay, we will talk this also in a subsequent slide. Okay, and then what you do is that you publish it, and then when you publish these things, you will be very happy, obviously, because when you got a journal publication, it's going to be a big plus for you in your career. So all this step okay, it's quite lengthy process. Okay, so if you want to publish, I would say that you should have minimum of 3 to 6 months. Okay, I'm saying that in a very fruitful way. Okay, sometimes it also happens to everybody, even for 1 year, okay, they can't able to publish it. Okay, the struggle is quite long. Okay, so but if you plan at least 6 months, I would say that you can try to publish a good article in a good journal. Okay, so that's about the very brief introduction about the publication. And this is the slide I used to show to my students also very often. Okay, and because though it is highly connotative, okay, there are a lot of meanings associated within this slide. Okay, but somewhat very bad way to say that you publish or perish. Okay, uh, but I truly rely on this slide because nowadays if you don't publish, okay, I don't think that you can survive in this academic world. Okay, academic world purely dependent upon your publication. That too in high ranking university, like for example, say UTM. Okay, it add lot of pressure on an academic. Okay, you have to publish at least. I believe that when I was working within UTM, I think you need to get some nearly 5 journal publication, 2 to 3 journal conference publication, and you have to raise some book chapter. So you could understand the amount of low workload or academic load that has been put on an academic. Okay, so obviously if you don't publish it, you have to perish it. Okay, okay, that's a most important meaning that comes out from this slide. So as I told you that previous slide is highly connotative. Okay, these are some sort of implication that lies within the before slide. So you could see here, if you publish, what are the benefits? Okay, you know this academic promotion. Okay, in most cases, you will be assessed continuously for 3 to 5 years. Okay, how many amount of journals you publish. So the more more you publish, there are good chances for the academic promotion. Please don't limit yourself that only if you publish you will get academic promotion. There are certain other routes also. Okay, I am talking about the person that we are going to take the research track. Okay, because there is also in a university like UTM, there is also an option called by teaching track. Okay, but if you go for the research track, the publication is very important. Though people say it as a teaching track, in teaching track also nowadays, okay, they request academics to publish. It is required that academics to publish. So that's the thing. Okay, so at some point of time you cannot separate publication. Okay, it is very important for your career. If you don't do that, there is no promotion. Okay, and then funding, this is another important thing. If you go apply for any research grants and so on, okay, you, in order to be successful, okay, you have to show the funding bodies that you are quite good in doing research. How you show that? By showing that how you publish in the journals. Okay, that too, if you publish in a high impact journals, okay, it gives a clue to the funder that you will not waste their resources. Okay, so funding, the chance of success of funding is also highly benefited by means of publication. And then fellowships and applications. Okay, this is also in uh, very important thing. Okay, if you want to get some research fellowship and scholarship, perfectly for a student who want to pursue a PhD or something like that. Okay, so if you have some publication rising from your master's work or your bachelor's work, okay, this is going to be a big plus when you are trying for some scholarship. Okay, so because this will differentiate yourself from others, because everybody is getting degree now. Okay, everybody is getting degree, so you have to differentiate yourself. Okay, so in this case, the only way or only method or otherwise option available for you is that try to publish your bachelor finding or otherwise master's finding. So this will facilitate you to attract some scholarship. And also in a learned academic like lecturers or something like that, in this case, if they acquire some good publication history, okay, there are good chances to acquire some fellowships. Okay, so this is another important aspect of the publishing the work. And then invited talks. Okay, so invited talks, you could easily understand, most of the time we invite people from the particular field who had published a lot of work in that field. Okay, so this is also linked to how much journals you are publishing. And then university incentives. So you can see that not only all this academic promotion, funding, fellowship, and invited talk, and also there are some incentives that you can get if you are regularly published. Okay, I believe that UTM is offering some financial support for this, not to support the publication. Please understand, it is just a monetary benefit. Okay, you can get some benefit. For example, if you publish some Q1 journal, okay, they will get something around 3,000 ringgits. Okay, so this is all coming under the publication benefits. Okay, so please go ahead, so you are in the right place now. Okay, and then you don't need to hesitate. Okay, in order to publish your findings. Okay, you will be supported through this conference, I believe. Okay, so publication is very important for all your activities. So now coming into the point of what are the different types of manuscripts that are published in journals. Okay, so basically we got letters, articles, and review articles. So letters is basically something a follow-up publication. So, for example, a scientist publish any particular work, and then okay, you read that work, you found it interesting, or you found that something not relevant what he's saying. Okay, so in this case, you can initiate some communication with respect to that published article. So that is called letters. Okay, and then we call articles. This is a thing we do. Okay, most of the time you want to publish the articles in a journals. Okay, so articles is mostly research article. That is, you got some research idea, you follow some methodology, you have some results, and then you try to communicate these results to the journal. Okay, so this is fall under the category of the articles. Okay, and then review articles. It's at some point of time what we can do is that we can also publish article if we could able to travel through the articles that has been already published. You understand all the work that has been done in that field, and then you try to summarize that and try to highlight what sort of research yet to be done. Okay, so this can be found in the review articles. At another important point about review article is that, for example, if you are a new researcher, you're going to start a research in any particular field, it is advisable to read the review articles. Why? Means it provides a comprehensive view of the literatures, okay, that has been published in that particular field. Okay, so these are the three different articles. The common, please, this is not an exclusive list. Okay, there are a lot of other type of articles that have been published, but these are the three important categories, namely letters, articles, and review articles. So now going into that, now we understand we are done some work, and then you got some stuff within your hand. Okay, and then this should be communicated to the journal. Okay, so when you want to communicate to the journal, we have to identify which journals you want to publish. This is very important. Okay, so this will be done now. So if you go into the journals, if you search any one journal for your particular sort of work, okay, you will get multiple number of journals. Okay, at one point of time, okay, definitely if you don't understand the where to publish, okay, it will definitely put you in trouble. Okay, I will explain this in the subsequent slide. So what are the basic tools to choose journal is that Scopus as well as Web of Science. Okay, these are the two important tools. It serves as a good uh, database, or otherwise good indicator for us to choose the journals. Okay, so the Scopus is published by uh, Elsevier publisher. Okay, so what is Scopus is that just collection of a database. Same, Web of Science is nothing but collection of database. Okay, so that is all the journals, all the journal articles will be indexed in the Scopus, but we have to be very cautious. We say that all the journals, but it is not all the journals. It has to have some certain standard, okay, so that it will be indexed in the Scopus. So what do you mean by Kumar by standard? If you ask me what is standard means, there are some standard. For example, a journal should have a proper editorial board. It should follow the proper review mechanism, okay, and then it should stay at least published say 2 to 3 years. Then only that journal will be indexed by the Scopus. Okay, similar to that, there is also some sort of standard established by Web of Science. Then this journal also will be indexed in this Web of Science database. Okay, so you can ask me what is a necessity is that these two tools provide you the guarantee, some sort of guarantee for the quality of the journal. Okay, so where I would say that if you want to publish in a journal means at least you have to go for the Scopus index. To the best, we can go for the Web of Science. Okay, so I will explain this in the subsequent slide now. If you go into this Scopus, okay, there is a tool called Site Score. Okay, so this Site Score gives you a quality. It's a biggest quality tool. Okay, this can able you can with this tool you can able to assess the quality of the journal. Okay, so what is Site Score is explained here. Okay, the Site Score is basically calculated for the 4 years. Okay, so you can see here what are the citation that has been received by the journal in the last 4 years, and to the what are the documents, how many number of documents that has been published by this journal over this 4 years. Okay, so you can, if you divide, when you divide the citation to the documents, okay, we will get the Site Score. Okay, this site score is published in the by means of in the Scopus website for every individual journal. So this gives a good quality tool that how this journal is performing. Okay, so you can see that the site score generally is published annually, and also now the Scopus had introduced a new tool called site score tracker. Okay, so this is published every monthly. Okay, so you can able to assess the performance of the journal every month. Okay, so basically you have to go inside the Scopus, and then from the Scopus you can able to get the site score. The site score indicates the performance of the journal, whether this journal is performing well or not. And then if you go into the site score tracker, it gives till more about the journal. That is, you can get even every month what is the performance of this journal. Okay, so this is about the Scopus site score. And another important tool, impact factor. Okay, so impact factor is you could say nowadays when you talk about high impact journal or something like that. Okay, the most common thing that comes to your mind is impact factor. So what I would say is that though it's not essential for you to understand what is an impact factor, but it is very important when you want to talk with anybody. Okay, because most of the time it happens to me also. I was little bit lazy to understand what is called an impact factor. But after some times I realized it's very important to understand what we are speaking. Okay, so generally if you say an impact factor means you have to understand that it is not something that you are going to get in just 1 year or 2 years. Okay, it takes nearly 3 years to derive these impact factors. Okay, so how it is calculated is given here. There are two important measurements. One is A and another is B. So what is A is that nothing but number of times that article has been cited. Okay, so it is nothing but your citation. That is how your article has been cited. Okay, that is cite is the first important one. And then B is nothing but citable items. That is how many articles that journal had published. Okay, so these are the two important measurements. So for example, when you want to calculate the 2021 impact factor, okay, it is a ratio by A by B. Means what is A is how many amount of articles that has been published in the journal for the year 2019 and 2020. Okay, that will be calculated, not no, sorry, number of articles. It is number of times cited. Okay, and that is given that is calculated over the window 2019 to 2020. Okay, for which article? That's another important one. It's not something like that for every published article. Only the article that has been published in the 2021. Okay, and then we have to calculate the total number of items. That is how many articles, for example, research article, review article, letters, what and all article has been published by this journal in the year 19 and 20. Okay, so for example, the year comes around, say, 1. Okay, and then how many amount of article has been published? Basically, they publish 2 means it is 1 by 2. So the impact factor is 0.5. Okay, just an example. Okay, because you don't get only one citation, or otherwise you don't get something, a journal publishing only 2 articles. Okay, it will be more, say for example, hundreds or thousands. Okay, so you can say that you can how now you understand, I believe, how you calculate the impact factor. Okay, so this impact factor is used as a tool to measure the quality of the journal. Okay, so you can easily understand it is basically simple math. Okay, so the higher the A, higher the impact factor. Okay, so we can also play like this. We can publish less number of articles in a journal. Okay, then also there is a good chance to increase the impact factor. So basically certain journals play with this tool, but okay, but to be ethically, we should not do that. Okay, but in order to have, but even though they are playing around it, okay, this impact factor is considered as a most important and respectable tool, okay, in order to estimate the quality of the journal. Okay, So I think it's just a history about it. Who had devised the impact factor is Eugene Garfield. Okay, who is the founder of the Institute for Scientific Information, and then it is measured the importance and the rank of the journal. Okay, I could you could understand. I believe the higher the impact factor, the better the journal quality, because the journal is getting more citations. More citations means the journal is having more impact. Okay. This you have to keep in your mind while examining the impact factor. Okay, most of the time there are a lot of fraudulent journals. Okay, so you could see that most in certain ways they claim that for this journal, I think it's claiming that it is impacted in the Thomson Reuters. Okay, please don't trust this. Okay, you have to go into the ISI website. I believe UTM has access to it. Okay, UTM has access to it. So you have to rope in the name of the journal. Okay, and then see examine whether this journals really indexed in the Thomson Reuters. That is to get the impact factor. Okay, and also you could see here in this journal is claiming that it has an impact factor of 0.621, but it is a fraudulent journal. Okay, that is, this impact factor is not true. Okay, this journal by themselves calculated and then put this as a 0.621. Remember, university will not accept the impact factor issued by any publisher itself. Because you could see that you could understand what is an impact factor. Impact factor is nothing but how many citation it received divided by the how many article published. So every journal can publish their own impact factor just by computing themselves by own, but it is not a standard one. Okay, it's not a standard one. That's the reason we have to examine this in the ISI. Okay, that is your Thomson Reuters. You can have to check into it, but most of the time the access is going to be a big issue, but a very standard university like UTM provide access to it. So please check the journal whether it's indexed in the Thomson Reuters. So next point is that oh sorry, by this oscillates. I'm sorry. Okay, so next point is that as I told you now, now you got the impact factor as an important tool. So when the higher the impact factor means better the journal, but it serves as some sort of disadvantage from the less researched areas. For example, say we know medicine. In medicine, a lot of research continuously taking place. So what happened then? The more number of articles will be published and more number of articles will be cited. Okay, so what happened is that the impact factor will be obviously high compared to the field. Say for example, arts and science. Okay, if you are working in the field of geography, if you're working in the field of history, okay, the research that have been done is also very less compared to that of what is done in engineering or a medicine. Okay, so it is very difficult to compare. Say for example, a university has two departments. Okay, university has two departments. One is engineering and another is arts and science, that is geography department, say for example. So what this is engineering department lecturers will do, I see I had published in a very high impact journal. My impact factor is 4, 5 or something like that. Okay, but in case of geography, the impact factor will not be very high. Okay, so in this case, it's very difficult to compare the two different research areas. Okay, for this, what they done is that they have provided a tier classification, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, tier 4 journals. That is, what are the journals that is published within the area of medicine. Okay, they will try to categorize based on the impact factor. Okay, so the higher impact factor, the top 25 will be forming the tier 1, and another one is the next 25 will be the tier 2, tier 3, and tier 4. So what happens now is that every journal, even though, for example, in engineering, 4 impact or 5 impact will be the tier 1. But in geography, even it is a 0.5 or 0.8, it will be a tier 1. So then they can be able to compare. Okay, so this sort of comparison is possible with the help of this tier classification. Okay, so that's the reason it was introduced. And also they also, now what happened is that they use this tool. For example, in case of UTM previous days, okay, when I joined with UTM in around 2014, okay, what they asked me is that just to publish in the Scopus index journal. Okay, so that was enough. Okay, they are considered as a quality. Then what happened is that they transferred to the impact factor journals. Okay, they asked me to publish in any impact factor journals. As long as your journal has an impact factor, then it is considered as good. But nowadays they're moving to the further step. Okay, they are asking me to publish in a journal that is tier 1 and tier 2. Okay, so you could see that how the publishing is constantly improved by one university. So what I would say is that when you want to do some research and then you want to publish that work, okay, target the journals that are falling within the tier 1 and tier 2. Okay, this ensures that your work has a good quality. Okay, and then this will also be recognized by the university. Okay. So now coming to the next important point about journal selection. Okay, so journal selection, it has a lot of things to do. Okay, in my case, what I would do is that basically when how I select journal is that in my area, okay, I'm going to collect some review article. I told you that when I want to search, start some new research. Okay, I will start collecting some review articles. Okay, so I read this review article. When I read this review article, okay, I could see that there are a lot of articles, okay, have been collected in this review article. I'm sorry. So this will be collected as a review article. In review article, you can able to see several journal articles collected there. So this will provide you an idea about what are the journals that are publishing in your research area. So that is one of the important tool. I didn't mention here, but this is a way I will do it. Okay, and then also you can see a supervisor and colleagues can provide you a good suggestion. That is, for example, you can ask your supervisor or otherwise your immediate colleagues, they can also provide some good suggestion. Shortlist a handful of candidate journal. That's an important one, okay, because when you are communicating your findings to a journal, okay, it is not mandatory that your work will be accepted in one journal when you do it. Okay, it's not going to be easy process. That's the reason, okay, I would say that, you know, sorry, you have to shortlist a handful of journals. Okay, so this will enable you to try in different journals. And coming to the point of publishing, there are two important modes of publishing. One is called traditional and another is called open access. Okay, traditional means what you want to ask. I don't want to read the text inside it. I will briefly explain what is traditional and open access. Traditional means these are the journals that you communicate to them, and then they will handle your manuscript and they will not ask any money to publish your work. Okay, so this is called traditional. In case of open access, they will do the same thing, but when they want to publish your work, they will request some money from you. Okay, that is called open access. So why they ask money is that because it is, you know, that review process and then publishing, everything going to cost money for the journal. Okay, so in order to manage that cost, they are asking it. Then you may ask me that how this traditional journals manage that. They do it in a different manner. Okay, for example, in open access, you pay the charge, that is author pay the charges. In traditional, what happened is that after publishing, okay, if somebody want to read your article, they will be charged money. Okay, such type of journals are called traditional journals. Okay, each journal, both the traditional as well as open access, has its own benefit and disadvantages. Okay, so we will. I had incorporated a couple of slides dealing with what are the benefits of using traditional and open access. Okay, so I will go through that slides. I think nothing very specific on this slide. Just remember that in traditional you have to pay some charges in order to get your work published. Sorry. In traditional you don't need to pay. In open access you have to pay some charges. So that's the thing is mentioned here. It is a paying for reader. Okay, but in case of traditional, it is free for authors. Okay, and open access. Okay, it is other way around. Okay, so readers do not have to pay, but authors have to pay. Okay. In open access itself, there are different options, namely delayed open access, hybrid, and golden open access. Delayed means it will be published after some 6 to 24 months. The hybrid means every journal will have provide you the option either to publish in a traditional mode or otherwise in open access mode. Okay, so that's the thing in hybrid open access mode. And then in golden open access means that's the thing what you are talking about. It is free of charge for the reader. Okay. And as I told you, there are some benefits and disadvantages, that is pros and cons. Okay, so what are the pros and cons are explained here. In case of visibility is very important, guys, because when you are doing some research and you are publishing this work, if this work is accessed by others, then only your work will be cited. Okay, so if there is a restriction, for example, in traditional journal, what happened is that readers have to pay money. So some readers may be reluctant to pay money and get your article. So this may reduce the visibility of your work. Okay, so what they say is that in case of visibility, open access journal performs well compared to that of traditional journals. Okay, so that's the thing I mentioned. Open access is better than the traditional in case of visibility. And another is cost. Okay, it's very easy. I told you that you have to pay money for open access compared to that of a traditional. So obviously, in case of economy, yeah, traditional is far better than the open access. But you can see that I just mentioned that open access article charges, it's not going to be standard. Okay, because sometimes my student ask, okay, how much I have to pay? Is it just 1,000? No, it's not something like that. Okay, it depends upon the quality of the journal. Once again, some small journals may charge just £100 or $100. Some well-established journals, they also charge something around 5,000. Okay, so you can understand the difference. Okay, so this you have to decide depending upon your budget available for you. Okay, so in this case, in case of cost, traditional journal is far better than the open access one. And then prestige. Okay, for example, if publishing in a traditional journal, it has got more prestige, because you could see that certain Elsevier journals and all, okay, it has been established very long back. Okay, and then universities have good trust in the quality of the journals, because there are some issues associated with open access, because since we are paying money, that is authors are paying money to publish the work. In most cases what happened is that there is a big sort of negative impact on the open access journals. People think that what authors pay money and get their work published. So it creates some sort of a negative impression. So that's another important thing you have to consider, because in certain universities, I'm not sure about with UTM, what they do is that they don't want open access journals. They request staff to publish in the traditional journals. Okay, and also some at some point of time there are some publishers who are red marked. Okay, they will say that you should not publish your work in the following publishers. Okay, I don't want to say I have put any publishers here name publishers name here, but if you go through the internet, you can easily find that fraudulent publishers are already available. Okay, and also there are some open access good. Sometimes this journal will have an impact factor also. That's a most important thing. Okay, I could see that certain journals will have an impact factor. Irrespective of this impact factor, okay, university may ask you to refrain yourself to publish in that journal. Okay, because there is some sort of what is it, there is no trust with respect to the quality of the work that has been published by the journal. Okay, so this has some disadvantage with respect to the open access. So in this case of prestige, definitely traditional journal wins compared to that of open access journal. And speed, for speed, there is what do I say, there is no doubt in it. Okay, open access journals performs well. Okay, you get a faster decision. So when you are time bound, okay, most of the time, okay, well, if you are doing a PhD or something like that, okay, you will be very busy in doing your research work, and then it will be something like that, you will be at the end of stage to publish your work. That is, it will be, you will easily finish the 3 years. So when you want to publish now, okay, I would say that I will go for an open access journal, because it provides you a decision faster. Okay, say for example, I got one publisher called MDPI. Okay, it is coming from Switzerland, I believe. Okay, these publishers issue a decision, say for example, in 10 days, 10 working days. This doesn't happen in the traditional journals. Traditional journals takes a long time. Okay, to an extent, I would say, I would just give an example. Okay, one of my work was under review for almost 1 year with a traditional journal. Okay, that is, you submit the work and wait for the review comments. For the review comments to arrive, I had to wait for nearly 1 year. So these sort of difficulties are associated with it. Okay, so when you want to publish your work faster, I would say that you had to go for the open access journal. So these are the factors that you have to consider while selecting the journal for your publication. Okay, I think I'm going beyond the time. Yati, I'm on the right track now? Do I have time to proceed?
Yes, Doctor, sure.
Okay,
You
thank
can
you.
proceed.
Okay, thank you. So how to choose a journals? It's given here. Okay. Various factors listed here. For I mentioned most of them already. So you have to think about what are the type of article you're going to publish. Okay, and this is important: speed of publication and how the peer review process is done. Okay, so it may be single blinded, double blinded, or open. Okay, I will explain you what do you mean by single. Means only the what you can say, your reviewer knows who is the authors of it. Okay, double blinded means both the reviewer as well as author doesn't know who is going to review it. Okay, so this is called double blinded. In case of open, both of us knows who are, who are the reviewers, and also the reviewer knows who are the authors. Okay, so this sort of process are being, it depends upon the journal policy. Yeah? It is not something like that every journal follows the same policy in the peer review. Okay, it will be mentioned in the aims and scope. That's a reason you have to go to read through the aims and scope. At some point of time, you don't want your name to be explicitly given by the reviewers. At that time, you should go for this single blinded. Okay, these are something you have to think about it: single blinded, double blinded, and open way. Okay, and then subscription mode, that you got open access as well as traditional mode. And then current innovation. So yeah, this is important. Okay, what is your research is going to talk? Okay, that you have to be matched with the aims and scope of the journal. Okay, you cannot something like that. You find a journal A and then you send your work. Okay, definitely they're not going to publish it. They're going to reject it. You have to read the aims and scope clearly and see whether your research work clearly fits within the aims and scope. Okay, so these are the various things you have to consider while shortlisting a journal. Okay. And also some other factors, what you can do is that in order to increase your acceptance with the journals, you can ask some internal review, okay, and read the notice. That's the thing, guidelines to the author. Okay, most of the time we don't do it. Okay, but it's very important to read the guidelines carefully, because if you don't follow the guidelines, immediately your work will be rejected. That too, in high impact journal, they care much. Okay, you have to follow the regulation. Okay, but most of the time, even though if it is rejected, okay, based on the you are not following the guidelines, means they provide you a second chance to resubmit it. Okay, but it creates a bad impression. Okay, please keep in mind that when you want to submit your work to a journal, read the guidelines carefully. Okay, and then writing a covering letter, this is very important. It is a place where you can highlight your findings to the editor. Okay, so you have to portray the significance of your research that you have done, on what is the impact of your research. Okay, this should be clearly highlighted in the covering letter. And then submit with the consent. This is very, very important. Okay, when you submit a work to any journal, you have to take the consent from all the authors. It's not that just you submit, you are going to be the only though you are going to be only link between the editor and you. Okay, but it's very important that you take consent from all the authors. So author's guide, okay, just an example to show you, but I'm not going to deal very in depth about that. Just to show you how the how you submit a work. First, you go and read through the guide for other. You can see that guide for others is there, and then you have to create an account. Okay, and then you have to make your cover letter ready. So cover letter is a place. Okay, you have to highlight your main findings and motivation. You could see that I had a 1 second. I put this, you have to get the approval from all co-authors. It's very important. Okay, in case of it is if it is a resubmission or something like that, you have to mention your communication with the journal that you had already. Okay, and then you can also suggest some referees. Okay, I will do. I am having one more slide regarding this. I will explain this, and then you have to explicitly say that what are the conflicts of interest you have. Okay, this you have to declare. Okay. So this is the way how you submit it. Okay, you have to get that. See, it's a quite lengthy process. It takes a long time to submit your work to the journal. Okay, because every journal want the work to be submitted in their standard. Okay, it's not something like that. Since you do a research work, you have the right to submit whatever you want. Okay, so they want the work to be submitted in a perfect fashion. Okay, but nowadays everything changes. There are some journals. Okay, there are some journals, they say that your paper, your way. That is, whatever format you do it, no problem for them. Okay, well, because it's quite lengthy process, and also no, when you want to submit it, if the paper accepted, no problem. But most of the time now, when your paper is rejected and you spend a lot of time to format your paper according to the journal format, and it is rejected, means it creates a lot of frustrations. Okay, to avoid this, what they do is, some journals, recently I saw in Taylor Francis journals, I think, your paper, your way. That is, you can submit in any standard fashion. They don't want you to what do you say, format your paper according to the style they are prescribing. But this journal needs to be done in their own style. Okay, so you have to format the paper according to the style, and then you have to upload it. And you can see that at every stage you have to upload everything. For example, this is a file upload, and then what are the keywords of your research work, and then you have to give the details of all the co-authors, and also uh, you have to give some reviewers. This is also important. You have to recommend some reviewers for your work. This is also an important and crucial. Okay, so I just add that point, what I want to say with respect to the selection of reviewers. Most of the time, some may ask me, okay, can I use a name? Can I? Definitely you can use my name, but thing is that, see whether my work is related to your research work, then you can use it. Okay, and another important thing is that, make sure that we both not publish together. This is another important point. And also, to an extent, we should not be in the, we should not work in the same institution also. Then conflict of interest happens. So these are the basic things. So first you see that your work is related to my work that I done, and then see that we both had no publication together. Okay, and then we both are not working in the same institute. Okay, these sort of things you have to look into it. So then you may ask, I don't know anybody, how I can recommend reviewers in this case. Okay, what I would do is that, as usual, I think in the beginning of my presentation I told that when you want to start a research in a new field, read the new review articles that has been published in the field. Okay, so use that article. In that article there are a lot of references are there. Okay, and you can see that people who are working in your field by using that references, and then you can give those names as a reviewers for your work. Okay, so cover letter I explained you. So review process. So what happened now? You had a research idea, and you had done some interesting work, and then you communicated to the journal. Okay, via their online portal. Okay, most of the days, okay, I think those days are over. Okay, there is nothing called paper submission, only by online submission. So you had submitted the work now to the journal. Okay, so when you submitted to the work, what now the process of journal starts. What does a journal does is that, so every journal will have their own editor. Okay, this editor role is that is to select appropriate reviewers for your journal, sorry, for your work, and also issue a decision whether they are going to publish or not publish your work in their journal. Okay, this is the role of the editor. So to do this, okay, how the editor does is that you have to select the referees. So how he does is that might be that the editor's experience, because he may be expert in that field, and then he may use his own experience, and then sometimes specific recommendation at some point of time, because every journal will ask you to supply a list of reviewers. Okay, so that they may also use your recommendation if needed. Okay, and also reliability, this is very important. Okay, for example, they know who are the reviewers will respond to them. Okay, sometime what happened is that people's journal send a review request to the experts in the field, and they don't get any response. Okay, so this is very important. And also some sort of reliability they need to establish. So it purely depends upon the editor's experience, and then also based upon the research field expertise and reputation, also they select their referees. So this is a first step done by the editor. So after referee selection, 2 or 3 referees. Okay, so referees are in handpicked, and then most cases you can see here they use cited reference. What I told already, ISA Web of Science or otherwise editorial board member recommendation, they use it to select the referees. And this is an important process, peer review. Okay, so what is peer review? It is given here. So once you submit your article to the journal, what happened is that editorial team, so please remember, it is not something that directly the editor is going to look at. It is some team. Okay, they are basically not a expert in your field. Okay, they just go through the article and see whether you followed the guidelines. Okay, so these guidelines are followed correctly. If it is not followed correctly, a manuscript can be rejected at that stage. Note, at this stage, so this is a rejection. So failure means a technical or ethical, and then it is rejected. Okay, at this stage, there are a lot of chance that the journal may provide you an option to resubmit it, because it is because of your formatting issues. Mostly it is because of formatting issues. Okay, and then what happens is that it goes to the handling editor. Okay, so this editor will go through the technical and otherwise quality of your work, and then he will decide. For example, if this work is already published, or otherwise if this work is not a good going to attract good audience. Okay, so what they do is that they will try to reject the work. Okay, unfortunately, if they reject, you don't need to worry. Okay, it happens to everybody. Okay, there is it happens even to the most senior professors also. So rejection may take place. And if the handling editor is happy with your work, Then the stage called peer review. You can see it. Okay. So in case of peer review, means what is that? Is that, as I told you, the editor is going to select some referees, maybe 2 to 3 people, and they send to those people. That stage is called peer reviewer. This peer reviewer will be given some definite time. Say, for example, it depends upon the journal, 1 week to even 3 months. Okay. So after reviewing, okay, they will issue their suggestions. So, for example, they may issue these 3 important suggestions. One is that publish unaltered. I don't think that anybody will receive such a comment, publish unaltered. Okay. I think at any point of time, the reviewer will suggest some corrections. Okay. But if you are very lucky enough, okay, you can get published unaltered, and then publish after minor amendments. So it's something like that. In this case, is almost confirmed your work is going to be published, but only thing is that you have to make some minor adjustment. Okay, that is according to the comments given by the reviewers. So when you make that minor amendment, your manuscript is going to be accepted. Okay, and sometimes what happened is that there will be some major amendments. Okay, it takes some time, or what I have to do is that in case of major amendment means maybe a reviewer may ask you to another couple of work. Okay, so it will take some time. And in this case, in case of major amendment, you may given some time, say 3 to 6 months, okay, to modify your work and then resubmit it. Okay, when you resubmit it, once again it goes for the peer review or peer reviewer. If the peer reviewer is happy, then the editor will accept your work. Okay, remember that even after this amendment, there is a chance that your paper may be rejected. Okay, so these are the how the flow of article starting from your submission to the acceptance. Okay, so once it is get accepted, it goes to the production team. That is how they are going to format your work into in a perfect journal state, and they will publish it. Okay, so these are the things you have to keep in mind about after rejection. Okay, please don't get dejected or don't get worried. Okay, if a journal rejects your work, it happens to everybody. Okay, so what you have to do is that you see that whether these comments are really thoughtful. Okay, and then check whether you can able to amend your paper based on the comments given. Okay, and then try to submit to another journal. Okay, so this is the only way we can do it. Okay, after getting frustrated or getting dejected because of the rejection, okay, nothing going to change. So only thing what I would suggest is that if journal recommends you rejection, what I would do is that go through the comments. If these comments are really relevant, I would try to incorporate those comments and try to submit in another journal. Okay, that's the way we have to do it. That's it. Another important tool I mentioned in the case of H index. Okay, when I travel in the first slide itself, I show that my H index is around 42. Okay, so what is this H index? Is explained briefly here. Okay, I will go through this very fastly. Okay, this H index is a tool used to measure both productivity as well as the impact. Okay, so what is productivity means? Productivity means how many journals or how many sorry, not journals, how many articles you publish. Okay, this is given by means of productivity. Impact, so impact means, you know, that impact factor, how the impact factor is calculated, how number of times your work has been cited, number of times your work has been cited to the number of articles that you had published. Okay, impact factor calculation similar to that. Okay, so what in case of H index is that it gives the both your productivity as well as impact. Productivity means how many articles that you publish. Impact means how many of your article has been cited by other researchers. Okay, so this is given by H index. So basically an H index, what does indicate is that, for example, in my case, I will say no, my case is very big. Okay, I will just in order to understand, I will just give a smallest number. For example, if your H index is 2, means what does it means is that you got 2 minimum, not it's not mandatory that you got only 2 articles. It means that you got minimum 2 articles published, and this each article, that is this 2 article, has got 2 citation. That means The Article 1 will have 2 citation, and Article 2 will also have 2 citation. So totally you got 4 citations. So if your H index 2 means, it means that you got minimum 2 paper and you got minimum 4 citation. Okay, so you can see that H index is indirectly giving a measurement both about your amount of work that you have published and also the citation that you had received. Okay, so it is a way to assess the quality of the researcher, and some extent it can also be used to assess the quality of the journal also. Okay. So there's some suggestions. You can see that if you want a full professorship, okay, you need a H index of around 18, some 15 to 20 fellowship in the Royal Academical Societies, and then in case of membership in the United Nations Academy of Sciences, you need an impact factor of 45, just to give you a feel that H index is used as a quality tool to measure the quality of the researcher as well as the journal. Okay. So this is my
Sorry
yes,
to
I'm
interrupt.
Janet. Yes.
You have another 3 minutes before the QA session.
No, I finished it. Thank you.
Okay, Doctor. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Saravana Kumar, for the insightful sharing. We're moving to the QA session, and we have one question from. The first question is from the Dr. Othman from the University Technology. The question is, how can we avoid the risk of publishing in a fake journal, and how can we evaluate a journal's quality?
Okay, so I think I had explained this already, but to once again to restate that, okay, what I would say is that you have to search that journal in the Scopus first. Okay, if you go into the Scopus, you get whether you come to know whether this journal is indexed in the Scopus or not. So you may ask me, what is the necessity of indexing in Scopus? Means it is a globally recognized tool for quality. Okay, Scopus provides indexing of the journal. Okay, when your journal is indexed in that Scopus, it provides you the quality. Okay, and also further, I told you that there are two important scores, namely site score and site score tracker. Okay, this also provide you a good indicator about the quality of the journal. Okay, this is one of the important first step you have to do. The next step is that as I told you that in case of UTM, they provide access to the Thomson Reuters ISI. Okay, you have to search that journal in this portal. Okay, when you search that journal, okay, if it is indexed by this Thomson Reuters, means it also indicates the quality. Okay, and you have to see the impact factor also. As I told you, higher the impact factor, better the quality of the journal. So these are the ways you can do that to estimate the quality of the journal.
Okay, thank you, Doctor. Thank you again. Thank you for your sharings and the QA session. Due to the time, we only have one question for now in the live session. Another question will be answered in offline when to the participants. Yeah.
Okay, sure.
So let's continue our program today with the second speaker, Dr. Muhammad Abdullah Al Sayem Khan. A little bit introduction on Dr. Sayem's background. He received his latest education of PhD in architecture in University Technology, Malaysia. He has substantial experience in conference proceeding and journal editing. He is currently the program manager for the International Conference of Healthcare Engineering, ICHE 2022. Dr. Sayem's topic will be published healthcare engineering article in IEEE Scopus Index proceeding. Dr. Sayem, the floor is yours.
Thank you, moderator Matlia. Can you see my screen, please?
Yes, doctor, we can see your screen.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. I think it's already it's a very good briefing from the Dr. Kumar. So I just continue a small little bit about the IEEE Scopus index proceeding, which one you are getting a small chance to know about this. So, okay, the submission and the peer review policies actually IEEE is important for the under IEEE positions and the submission and the peer review. Okay, because multiple submission, prior publication, and the plagiarism are addressed to the IEEE submission for the policies. Okay, there is some few points that you have to be keep in your mind when you are preparing your paper and submit to the IEEE publications. Is actually policy on the multiple submission for the prior publications. Okay, so the first one, you have to see the prior publications. The guidelines recognize that it is a common and technical publication in the materials to be presented at various stages of its evaluations. Okay, and then secondly, I'm just giving a small touch. I'm going for the slides later on. The multiple submission, but don't do the multiple submissions once you are submitting in one publication to another one journal. Please wait until it's published in your, because if you have the acceptance, of course it will be published, but somehow if you change to another publication, it's late or it will take time. It will cause your paper not to be published in anywhere because the plagiarism. The next point is the plagiarism, policy on the plagiarism. So once your paper you submitted to any conference, any journal, any high index publications proceeding, it will become an online. And once you are trying to apply the plagiarism for another submission, it will show you more than 60%, 80%, because you are not changing the paper. If you change also, it will stuck. So be careful on the plagiarism when you submit it for the IEEE. Copyright notice should be there for the IEEE, and then policy of electronic posting. Also, there is some sections we have to follow, and electronic reprints. Electronic reprints is once you are submitting IEEE, if your paper is already published inside the journal or online base, you have to the words will become automatically in ePrint. This work has been submitted to IEEE for possible publications. Okay, copyright may be transferred without any notice, further notice, and after which this version may no longer be accessible. So you have to be careful. Okay, so next for the IEEE, they have a few. Their abstract is a small part of this one, but totally we have the full paper format. Okay, so there's a few one like US letter docs. Okay, one portion A4. Better you use A4 one. The latex template, those who are using the latex right now are for them. And template, we have updated version of 2019 and latex bibliography. But you can follow this one, the paper. This is the format you can find in the website of IEEE format paper template. You can just follow this one. Okay, so for your is a very good opportunity for you guys if you just follow our health engineering conference. So in this you will get easy way to publish your paper soon. Okay, so this conference will be held on September 23 to 25th, and right now we are accepting the full paper. Okay, so I will tell you the rest full paper. This is the poster. Maybe we will send you by the email. Those who are today registered is basically for the health engineering only. Okay. So full paper submission will be on 15 June. Remind and take a note that we are waiting for your full paper. If you can give these papers, all the accepted paper will be published in IEEE. You can see the sponsored by the IEEE and EMB. And very soon from the EMB chair, we will take another webinar, inshallah, so you can meet them. So acceptance of the full paper notice will be given to you on 15 July. Final paper 15 August, finish, and the registration done. Conference date will be 23rd to 25th. Topics, there's three topics, main topics: history, engineering, disease, prevention, diagnosis, treatment, and the management. Under that one, we have the subtopics: cancer, diabetes, allergy, representative. Okay, and then the second one, engineering of the patient's care and safety. Third, engineering for medical specialists. Okay, the paper is very easy to submit. We will use the Easy Chair. So you just open your account in the Easy Chair and the submit. Rest we will handle. So every time when you log in, we have to be same ID and same password. Author's guideline in this conference website is already done, and you can see the template is already we given. So download your template, prepare your own article, submit to us. Publications is already I mentioned that it will be published in the IEEE Explorer, all the publications, if the quality is requirement achieved. Okay. Okay, the last one is contact us. If anything, you can contact, there's a 2 number. Okay, and then you can email to us, you can directly WhatsApp to us. Okay, and thank you so much. Okay, and thank you. We will see you next webinar. Thank you. Is there any questions, Mr. Moderator?
No question from the ground, Doctor. Thank you for your informative sharing. We moving on. I would like to invite our final speaker, Professor Dr. Engineer Eko Supriyanto. Some briefing introduction for Prof. Dr. Engineer Eko Supriyanto. He obtained his doctor in engineering from the University of Federal Armed Forces, Hamburg, Germany. He is now a professor at School of Biomedical Engineering and Health Sciences, University of Technology, Malaysia. His expertise include artificial intelligence, medical informatics, healthcare engineering, and biomedical engineering. Prof. Eko is actively publishing its research works, and now he has 241 published Scopus Index articles. Recently, he was appointed as General Chairman for the International Conference on Healthcare Engineering, ICSE 2022. Prof. Eko will be wrapping up our webinar today with his closing remarks. Without further ado, Prof. Eko, the floor is yours. Prof. Eko, are you there?
Prof. Eko is still on.
Okay, sorry for the inconvenience. Prof. Eko still not in yet. Please kindly wait for a minute.
Hello, Matia.
Yes, Prof. Yes, Prof. Eko. The floor is yours, Prof.
Okay, yes, okay. Thanks, yeah, everyone. Very good afternoon. Hopefully you already have 2 sessions today from Dr. Kumar to give you talk on the how we publish in the high impact journal, and also from Dr. Sayem talking on the next our conference, which is we will conduct in September. Okay, let me share my screen, Matia. I just want to little bit add some informations on. Give a second. The closing today. So Martin, can you see my screen?
Yes, Prof. We can see your screen.
Yeah. So yeah, I think today we already learned from both speakers that first is the way how to publish the papers or your papers in the high impact journal. I think there are a few notes here. Some important thing that you need to have about the originality, novelty, scientific contributions, and also your writing, including the grammar and also style, and also including the selection of the sentence that you need to have it. I think this is the very important things. And then second, I think Mr. Sayem also already mentions on the healthcare engineering articles that will be published in IEEE Scopus Index proceedings. I think he already mentioned as well about the IEEE template and some criteria. The first, the most important, I think, is you need to have the match criteria. I mean, the matching area. Area is matching with ours. And then you need to have something that's original, and then the delivery is novel, but the novelty level is depends. As long as there is something that is can be contributed scientifically, then I think it's no issue for us to accept the paper. And also same with the others is on the writings, including the sentence, including the style, structure, grammar, and so on. So no, I think you have also learned some step. When is the deadline for the full paper submissions? When is the review? When is the revisions? And then when is will give the acceptance, and then registration, presentation, publication. But we hope that we need to. I mean, we try to have the publication done or can be done by this year, 2022. The area that we have, I think Mr. Sayem also already mentioned, but I will try to highlight, which is quite broad. It is the application of engineering, technology, and science. The engineering of technology and science can be from bio, include the biomedical, biological, biotechnology, pharmaceutical engineering, and so on. Chemical engineering, this is related to the bio, and then to the electrical, electronics, computers, and then mechanical, civil, architecture, environmental. I think this is the type of engineering that allow to be submit to this conference. The engineering is very broad. And then in healthcare, the healthcare here means like you can have application for the hospital, for the clinic, labs, pharmacy, wellness center, and other healthcare centers. For example, the primary care, and then the elderly care. I think something that is also related to healthcare, and also some medical specialties. For example, the surgery, the obstetric, gynecology, cardiology, and oncology, and other things. So basically, this is the area that we would like to have or match with this conference. So I think last but not least, we also try. I mean, to thanks for everyone that participate in this webinar. From my list, I have around 140 participants today, including using in this and other methods from 20 countries, and then from the various engineering and health fields, and also welcome for lecturers and also students that also attend in this webinar. With the hope that after this, please prepare your paper. If you need, you can contact us. To have the joint publication with our team. Later our team also will guide you. We have here Dr. Kumar. Sorry, Dr. Nalasi still have personal issue. And then we have also Prof. Anom also today. Sorry, apologize. She has also related to the hospital hospitalization from her family, and you can also communicate with me directly and other teams that will try to assist you if you really need. We can have like joint research or joint publications, and then the paper to be submitted in our conference. After you have it, I think the deadline is closed. I think somewhere in 1 month or just few weeks from now to submit paper to this conference. And the other things would like also to get your assistant for the distribution of this call for paper. And we also encourage you, encourage your peers, students to submit some papers And okay, for professor, I think I saw also some professor lectures. Okay, please join in our scientific committee. Okay, last but not least, then see you all in our conference, which will be held online. So, okay, this time still online, but we don't know exactly whether we'll be fully online or we have also some offline on 23rd until 25th September 2022. Thank you very much. Have a good day and happy Ramadan and Selamat Hari Raya for Muslim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Prof, for the closing remark. Before we conclude today's webinar, I would like to request a group photo with our distinguished speakers and participants. Please turn on your cameras, audience. Please also use the virtual background that the committee shared in the Zoom chat box. Okay, please everyone turn on the camera and ready. Ready, 1, 2, 3, smile. Hold for a few seconds. Hold for a few seconds, we move to the next screen. Okay. Thank you everyone who took part in this webinar. We hope to see you again in one of our upcoming events. Stay tuned with us. We wish everyone the best of luck. Please stay safe and healthy. Thank you. Till next time. Goodbye.
Goodbye.